Tracy Clayton.
And I'm Josh Gwynn, and we're the hosts of Back Issue.
We're back with Season 2.
You can remember the name of our show, Back Issue, because we're back for Season 2.
And we have issues?
Not wrong. We're going to revisit moments in pop culture we all think we remember and learn what they can teach us about where we are now.
We're going to talk about Whitney Houston, food you used to love, your favorite and forgotten singers of the 90s and the 2000s, and more.
So join Tracy and I with Back Issue Season 2. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? I'm Carmelo Anthony. And while you may know me as a basketball player, there's a whole lot more I'm ready to talk about. That's why I started What's in Your Glass, a show where we'll sit down for a glass of wine and a conversation with the biggest names in sports, music, media, and entertainment. Listen and follow What's in Your Glass, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Creative 7 with me, Carmelo Anthony, now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Jump in right there. Kirk Cousins, the Vikings quarterback, he has his talking points down extraordinarily well. I want you to react to it through a text, 651. Dan, we're still at a point where we can't take calls, correct?
Correct.
He's confirming that?
Yes.
Okay. I know folks are working on that. We'd love to get that up to speed as soon as possible. We'll let you know. What did you think of Kirk Cousins? Because, as I said, he's got those talking points down. He could be a politician. He could step in. He could be right in the middle of some sort of controversy, and he knows what to say. Follow the protocols. Follow the protocols. Follow the protocols. Except for one thing, Kirk. The biggest protocol is one thing. Take the damn vaccine. If you take the vaccine, the numbers are on your side in an extraordinary way. Yes, there are a minuscule amount of breakthrough cases. The one in Massachusetts is the outlier where a number of people who were vaccinated tested positive. That's the only case like that. Right now, the breakthrough cases, if you're vaccinated, are 0.004. So sure, social distancing helps. Sure, some level of mask help. N95 mask more than cloth mask. I'd be curious, is he wearing an N95 mask? But he has decided, and he gets to do it, okay? But he also has to accept the repercussions of when he cannot do his job. And sure, a bigger room helps and all those things. But the one protocol that gives him so much more of a chance to play this year are the vaccines. So when he says, I'm doing anything I can to make sure I play, he's not. He is not. He could take the vaccines, which are proven to put you in an extraordinarily better position to not get the vaccine, to not get COVID, to not get any serious repercussions, and he has chosen to not do it with implications on others. Much like everybody else in society, it's not just you. It is not just you. It is the implications that it has on the rest of society. We make personal decisions where it only affects us. Sometimes we make decisions about our own health. And again, I so far am not for any city or government mandate. But most of the time when we make decisions about ourselves, it doesn't have the potential to impact others. The Delta variant is around because of the number of unvaccinated individuals. My thoughts, I want to hear from Dan. I want to hear from you. Matthew Collar covers the Vikings as well as anybody for Purple Insider. Caller's with us in about 15 minutes. Your thoughts on Cousins, what I had to say, what Dan's going to say. Text right now. Let's get a ton of them. 651-989-9226. I love one texter who just traffics and lies, by the way. Just does. Thinks it's a cheap shot to call me college boy. Okay.
You snob. You arrogant, educated snob.
Because I pursued information, and I'm pursuing accurate information now. I am a snob. You got it. College boy. Devastated. This person has been telling us for months and months and months that Trump would be reinstated. And, of course, as the months go by, nothing changes. So
I didn't know.
Got it.
I didn't know Rex Santorum listened to the show. Wasn't he the one with the "If you went to college, you're a snob"?
Yes, he did. And we had a fairly testy encounter about that here on WCCO Radio. All right, what did you think of Talking Points Kirk?
Well, and that's the way to put it, right? It is all about the talking points. It was clear that he had a strategy coming into this session. He knew what was coming. And so he had decided that he's going to say that the protocols are the end-all, be-all, and as long as I follow the protocols, it doesn't matter whether I'm vaccinated or not. Can we move on to football? That was his approach. I found his line about, last season proved that the protocols worked suspicious because there was how many games got moved and changed and delayed?
Yes. And
you're going to say every single time that happened, it was because there was a violation of the protocols? I don't know that that's necessarily the case. I don't know that's necessarily the case. And whatever good the protocols do.
Let me be more blunt.
Yes, go ahead.
He's lying.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
It's not the case. I mean, numerous players on this team missed games. Games were canceled. They couldn't practice normally. They had to do so many things different. So it's just a lie.
Yeah, and so that's you're right. It's a lie, and that's a problem. That's a problem when you're going to use that as your defense for not being vaccinated, and saying that it's a private medical decision. What is the difference to anybody between saying it's a private medical decision, I'm not going to disclose that, and just saying no, I'm not getting vaccinated? Because everybody knows what you mean. So just own it. Go ahead and say no. I don't trust this thing. I'm not going to do it. Just go ahead and say that, because otherwise you're just tap dancing. And we're all left to infer the truth, which again we all know.
We know that 100% because here is the policy that the NFL has laid out, that if Kirk had taken the vaccine, he would have been treated differently. So it's 100% that he has decided to not get the vaccine. Just say it's not a private matter. I mean, if you want to keep your decision-making process private, you have that opportunity. But you can't act like we don't know that you're not vaccinated because he was treated, according to the NFL policy, as someone who is not vaccinated.
Can I make one last point, and then we can
get
some text?
7 more points.
Oh, okay. Well, let me get the list then. Don't tell me you gave this thing to me now. Now I'm going to be clearing my throat all the time. Oh, my goodness. Look, as a person who we all know takes his faith very, very seriously, and I don't question that for a moment, I would remind Mr. Cousins, and I would remind anybody out there who professes to be a follower of Jesus, that the entirety of our faith is based on putting the needs of others before ourselves, of laying down our power, of laying down our privilege, and seeing to the basic needs of other people. And one of the basic needs of other people is health. So whatever your hesitancy is, may I humbly submit that if you're going to be a person of faith, that perhaps the driving factor of your faith should be that basic ethic of love for others and putting others' needs before yourself, because that's the problem. If it was just you and you don't want to get vaccinated, and you mentioned this earlier, fine. Don't go back if it's just you. But it's not just about you, because if you're not vaccinated, you're part of a problem that's going to spin out more variants, and people who are vaccinated are going to be put at risk because those variants, who knows, may not be prevented by the vaccine. So maybe you want to put others before yourself. Just a thought.
Yeah, and again, on this show, the three of us have different devotions to our religion in different ways, which is no different than the rest of society. Okay? I'm not shaming you if you are extraordinary religious or if you're completely atheist. You get to do you, right? As someone, and Dan's in this category, and Adam's in this category. Adam's not here today because he was in the morning show. We are paid to give our opinions on this. Okay, that's our job. As someone within the religious faith, when people say, well, I'm going to leave it to God's hands, and if you believe God is guiding you in some powerful way, that's your decision. But you make your own decisions on a daily basis. You decide to eat food, get up, get a job, drive the speed limit, protect yourself, think of others, go to doctors, get medicine. We make these decisions to help us and to help others. And so when this horrific pandemic has attacked us, to then say, I'm just going to leave it up to God. I can cite, I think for almost every single person out there says that, other ways where you don't just simply leave it up to God. And if you believe God created this world, good on you. That's your decision. But then look at the multitude of options you have if you believe this is God's creation to protect yourself, protect others, and what you do every single day. And what you do every single day about that. We're getting a high number of texts. Here's what I want to do. I want to talk to Matthew Collier from Purple Insider, and then we're going to talk to Matthew for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go through all these texts. The caller's so good. I want to get Collier into the conversation. If you just tuned in, you missed, what would you say Kirk talked? About 10 minutes or so, 10, 11 minutes?
Yep, right about there.
Kirk Cousins saying, I'm following the protocol. We've now changed the room. The room is going to be bigger. I'm willing to do anything available to make sure I'm available to play.
That was the other lie.
Yeah.
Because he's not willing to do anything.
Which he's not, because he could take the vaccine.
Yeah.
That's it. Because none of these protocols touch the impact of the vaccine. None of them. Said he had a tremendous conversation with Mike Zimmer. Just a hunch. Mike didn't feel it was quite as tremendous. Just a hunch. Matthew Collier from Purple Insider is moments away on Newstalk 830 WCCO.
Hey, we're the hosts of Pod Save America. Every week we break down the political news that makes us laugh, cry, and scream into the void with a conversation that's entertaining, informative, and hopefully useful.
We try to be serious without taking ourselves too seriously because we all have to stay in the fight. Democracy is under attack, and there's a whole right-wing machine that's counting on the rest of us to give up and check out, and we can't let them win.
So join us. New episodes of Pod Save America drop Mondays and Thursdays. Listen for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? I'm Carmelo Anthony. And while you may know me as a basketball player, there's a whole lot more I'm ready to talk about. That's why I started What's in Your Glass, a show where we'll sit down for a glass of wine and a conversation with the biggest names in sports, music, media, and entertainment. Listen and follow What's in Your Glass, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Creative 7 with me, Carmelo Anthony, now for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Odyssey now has hundreds of new exclusive music stations for you to discover your new summer soundtrack.
Get moving with worthy workouts for a cardio sesh fueled by today's top artists.
Hanging with your crew? Throw it back with Picnic Party for old school jams for your cookout.
Or sail away with Odyssey's new yacht rock station, Jugger Yacht.
There are hundreds of new exclusive stations to check out today.
For summer barbecues,
road trips,
or relaxing poolside.
For every mood, every interest, every passion. By Odyssey. Brought to you in part by Macy's and Geico.